Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet one of my favorite people on the planet. Jeremy Rosenthal is in the studio. He's a founding partner of Texas defense firm and just a brilliant legal mind and media mind. You're going to hear his story next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
All right, I said in the show open, one of my favorite people on the planet is my next guest, Jeremy Rosenthal. He is just an incredible legal mind and has become a dear friend. He is the founding partner of Texas defense firm. Thanks for coming back on the show.
Jeff, thank you for having me.
Well, it feels like just yesterday. I think as I get older, like the days pass so quickly. And 2 years ago, you were on my show and we were meeting each other for the first time and we became very good friends. And so give a little bit of your background. So you started as a prosecutor and then went over to the defense side, and tell us why that's significant.
That's a you ask really deep questions, Jeff, and ones that are catching me off guard, and but that's fine. Yeah. So I love being in the courtroom. I love representing people. It's cliche, but it's true. Being a defense lawyer gives me the opportunity to exercise a lot of the demons of being an insecure person, to where I get to go and I get to do some pretty cool things. I get to represent people who need help. I get to hold the government accountable. I get to take on some really challenging projects that are very rewarding if you can sort of get to the bottom of them and get it right. And on a good day, I put a few shekels together.
Well, so many attorneys, and there's one on every street corner in Dallas-Fort Worth, so many attorneys never see the inside of a courtroom. And so I want you to spend a little bit of time talking about the value of coming from the prosecution side, so you know how to put a case together, and on the defense side, you know how to take it apart. So your expertise is just, you're kind of a unicorn.
Well, the way I describe trial to my clients is it's a game. I mean, it's not a game, it's a high stakes game, but it's fundamentally and functionally a game in a lot of different ways. There is a very mechanical strategy to part of it, which you learn as a prosecutor. That is calling the right witnesses, knowing the rules of evidence, knowing who can come in and establish what types of things, and then persuade a jury with it. And then on the defense side, it's a lot less structured. It's sort of your Einstein versus Mozart. And on the defense side, it's not so much about the mechanics of it as it is sort of really redesigning the mosaics that the prosecutor lays out there to show what you think is the truth and something that is easy for a jury to understand. And there's a lot of psychology there too. I would say also one of the things I really love about being a defense lawyer is the challenge of it. And being a criminal defense lawyer is not a popular thing necessarily. It's the only profession mentioned in the U.S. Constitution, but it's a lot harder to go to the 50-yard line and yell, "Go Eagles," at Texas Stadium or Arlington Stadium than it is to yell, "Go Cowboys." I love that challenge.
Well, and picking apart a prosecutor's case, I mean, it takes a clever eye to see where they messed up. So talk a little bit about, like, when you're meeting with a client for the first time, they're coming to you because you have this wisdom, and they also know whether this is a case that they should bring to trial or they settle. So talk about the kind of the dynamics involved.
Really, a lot of it involves connecting with the client, knowing what the client wants, knowing what's keeping them up at night. And your first priority is to try to sort of make that go away. And then, yes, what will give the client hope is an outcome that they can live with, and a lot of times that comes with deconstructing the prosecutor's case. And so what's really important is that you sort of can be very granular with the client in a way that is not alarming, in a way that is sort of like, okay, well, let's take this case apart. Let's look at this. Let's look at each and every element.
Yeah.
Let's look at the game of the trial. Let's look at the X's and the O's, and this is how this is going to work, and this is how that's going to work, and here's a way that we can sort of accomplish this. And it's a collective process of what goals can we accomplish in this case. Can we win the thing, or are we just going to avoid a direct hit?
Yes, yes. And how many jury trials have you had?
Oh, probably over 200. Yeah.
Incredible. I would assume at this point you've built such a great reputation that the prosecutor, when they know that you're on the other side, they're like, okay, we better bring our A game, or we better plea, or something like that, right? I mean,
I like them not knowing anything about me. And you kind of in criminal law, it's sort of like whack-a-mole, the one that pops up is the one that they hit the hardest. So you do kind of like to sneak in under the radar. But yes, a lot of times too, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have a good reputation. It doesn't hurt to have to have a good rapport with the prosecutor, the judge, that they know that your arguments are serious, that they know ultimately that you can and will take them to task. If it comes to it. It's one thing, getting a prosecutor to laugh, getting a judge to laugh is not a strategy. It can help, and it certainly is a tool to be used, but they have to be able to take you and your arguments seriously, and they will only do that if, for lack of a better word, you flash your teeth sometimes.
Yeah, I love that. We're going to scroll down your website, and I love it that you got TexasDefenseFirm.com, which is probably the best domain name ever invented. And you have a dream team, so talk a little bit about your partners and the other.
Well, first up, let me talk about TexasDefenseFirm.com and why we're TexasDefenseFirm.com. Please. I wish it was some altruistic belief in the legal system and defending people. The fact is I've had so many law partner divorces that my SEO people came to me and said, Jeremy, let's just take names out of this thing. That way we don't have to update this every time you get into it with another one of your partners. And I find that in all my law partner divorces that I'm the common denominator between all of them. So maybe I'm the one that's sort of difficult. But also the state bar allows, it used to be until 2-3 years ago that law firms, don't get me going on law firm advertising, but when law firms had to be, Dewey, Cheatham and Howe, they had to be Fulbright and Jaworski, Baker McKenzie. You had to have these names.
Right.
And just recently they allowed law firms to represent themselves to the public as something like TexasDefenseFirm.com.
Yes.
So this is a very recent development. And I find that it's a very rounded way to present all of the lawyers in our office. And TexasDefenseFirm.com is a little stickier on the advertising than Jeremy Rosenthal is.
Well, let me give you a chance to brag about your colleagues.
Would love to.
So tell me about your dream team.
So we have, I think, 11 lawyers right now and a full staff. My law partner, Bo Calabas, I went to law school, I went to law school with Bo, and I actually went to high school with Bo.
Wow.
We met in algebra. I won't tell you what year of high school, but there's a reason why we're lawyers and not and that I'm not an engineer of some sort. Bo is, I've never met anybody who cares for his clients more than Bo. And, he's the type that if he schedules a meeting at 2, he's out for the rest of the day, and he'll come out of that meeting at 5 with the client, and he will internalize the client's problems and feel the pain. So he's very, very popular with his clients for that reason. A lot of passion there. My other law partner, Kyle Tarian, we raised Kyle since he was a pup. He's not a pup anymore. He's been practicing now for 14 years, I believe. Wow. And Kyle is the author of the statewide, it's called the Significant Decisions Report, which one of the things about being a lawyer is the law changes, right? Which is just one of 800 reasons why being a lawyer is being harder than like being a doctor, is because like a doctor operates and the spleen doesn't move, does it?
Right.
You know, with
Exactly.
the lawyer, the spleen moves, right? The
Yes.
cases are different and the law is different. And Kyle, he authors that for the entire state. For the defense bar, and so he goes through and he has a responsibility of looking through there and doing that. We have another partner. Her name is Vanita Parker. She helped found the Dallas County District Attorney's mental health staff department, and she she's been an integral part there, and her bailiwick is a lot of mental health. I could go through our entire roster. Those are the partners, and what we try to do is we try to cover every inch of criminal law, whether it's getting punched in the stomach in the police station at 3 a.m, DWIs, whether it's a federal offense, if we're at the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans, or Kyle actually just got sworn into the U.S. Supreme Court, and anywhere in between. Wow. That's where we can help.
So powerful. I bragged a little bit about your media experience. We're going to pull up your media page, and this is just your YouTube channel. And this is just kind of a fraction of the stuff that you've done in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. I was trying to come up with a number. It's certainly hundreds of interviews a year. So why do you enjoy the media thing?
Well, Jeff, and I should say, and I should compliment you, because it's you and your team that sort of got me started, and that have really put together everything. And at one point this summer, I told myself when I began working with you that if I could do 4 interviews a month, it would be worth it. This last year, I was doing about 20 a week. So yeah, it got to be kind of an issue at home. So anyway, but I love talking. I love me.
Well, you're so natural. You're so natural.
That aside, look, what I really enjoy about it is the fact that we're educating people, mm-hmm. and I'm trying to bring it to them in a way with a lot of the current issues, because we're in a very divided, very polarized society right now. And what I have found, and what one thing I've really enjoyed, is that most of the media outlets that I talk with, some of them will have an angle, or they'll be bent, sure. and I can kind of, with my little antenna, I can kind of feel which way this host is kind of feeling.
Right.
And regardless of whether I agree with them or I don't agree with them, my goal is always to bring it back to the center and back to the law. Because the law doesn't change, or that part of it doesn't change, even though we just talked about how the law changes. But I think that's really important to see that the other guys, whoever they are, yes. the other guys aren't stupid. And that doesn't matter what side of the spectrum that you're on. And that, okay, let's take it from and that's what a lawyer does. I will look at a case and I'll say, okay, let's pretend I'm the other guy.
Sure.
Why does the other guy believe in this case?
Yes.
And the other guy's not stupid. Right. And the other guy's actually got a good point here. So I've enjoyed sort of bringing those to the center, bringing these basic points back home to people, and doing it in a way that they can understand.
Sure. And I have to imagine, Jeremy, you've always been a gifted communicator, but the pressure of live radio, television interviews, I mean, you can't predict what they're going to ask you. It's probably made you a better communicator in all areas of your life, I'm imagining.
Well, I tap dance for a living. And so that doesn't, and there's been a few times I've been caught flat-footed on the air, but I've always seemed to recover or pretend that I can't hear them on the phone or whatever I need.
You're breaking up.
Yes, I'm sorry. This is, gosh, AT&T. Are they your sponsors? Oh, yeah. No, we can't. Yeah, never mind. Sorry.
All right. You do have the heart of a teacher, literally, because you were recently invited to speak at SMU. We've got a couple of pictures. Why don't you talk about this
Sure.
experience and who did you talk to?
So this is a bucket list experience, really special. Professor Jania Turner at SMU, she teaches a constitutional criminal law procedure course, and she teaches more criminal justice than that. And we got linked together through some of her research projects. She invited me to lecture to her students. I was a law student in this very room.
Wow.
I took multiple courses in there. There was a professor that I took. His name was Professor Joseph McKnight. He was the oldest tenured speaker or faculty member at SMU. He taught family law, divorce law, and he stood right where I'm standing there, and that was very special.
Cool.
Very
That
special.
is so cool. And what kind of questions did you get from the students? Did you feel like they were engaged? What was your topic?
Well, very much. So we were talking about search and seizure law, Fourth Amendment type things, and bringing obviously some real world experience because I'm a practitioner. I'm not an academic so much, although, I mean, it's inherently what we do. So it was interesting to sort of see their perspective and to kind of remember when I sort of thought the way that they did. You know, they're wondering about some of the loftier questions. You know, what does Amy Coney Barrett or Sonia Sotomayor think about this issue? And I'm like, look, the police are more worried about lunch when they're drafting the search warrant, and that's all nice that you're focused on the bigger picture, as you should be, I suppose. But it was a lot of fun, and my whole goal was to get invited back, which I don't know that I've done that yet. But
I'm sure that you will. Okay, so in the final 2 minutes, maybe speak into the camera on the left and talk to the next generation of lawyer. And what advice would you give them from your many years of experience?
When I graduated from SMU, when I walked across the stage, the speaker gave a very eloquent, very long-winded soliloquy about the gifts of practicing law and how you can serve people and how you can help people and how you can never be ashamed of fighting unpopular battles. And he ended it with this, which is how I will end this: get paid.
I dropped the mic. I love it. Great way to end the show. We're also going to leave you with the website, which is texasdefensefirm.com. The great Jeremy Rosenthal. Thanks for coming on the show. You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.